Right now on Denver 7 News at 7 o'clock on Local 3, the partner of Aurora's former police chief is now facing an arrest warrant, accused of making false accusations of child abuse against a city council member.
You know, as a mother, getting a call like that is probably your worst nightmare.
We are hearing from Danielle Jurinsky about the stunning allegations as investigators now point to retaliation.
Scenes of terror at a Buffalo grocery store are all too familiar for survivors of the King Soopers shooting in Boulder.
My first thought was all of the similarities, that it was in a grocery store, the number alone of people killed.
We talked to a survivor about her hopes for people now beginning the healing process.
And the Avs are back on the ice to restart their quest for the Stanley Cup, opening their second round playoff series against the St. Louis Blues after 8 days off. Game 1 of the best of 7 at Ball Arena tonight.
Yeah.
So time to get loud. Good morning to you. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. I know Lisa's house is going to be loud tonight. Hopefully you can get some sleep. Keep us updated on that forecast.
I wish these games were like 2, 3 o'clock,
Right.
you know? Yeah, it'd be a lot easier. You're right. It's going to be a late night, probably a loud night there at Ball Arena. I'll have your forecast there downtown coming up in just a few minutes. Upper 50s, near 60 here this morning. It's a really mild start to our Tuesday. Little mix of sun and clouds early on. We're going to be at about 77 degrees by 10 o'clock. A nice warm up today, low to mid 80s for highs. So we're once again well above normal with those temperatures soaring into the low to mid 80s between about 2 and 5 o'clock. Things will cool off if you get a few storms rolling through your neighborhood. And those like yesterday will pop up between about 2 and 3 o'clock. When it comes to the risk of severe weather, that's likely going to be north and east of Denver. We'll see a few of those storms turn a little bit stronger near spots like Fort Morgan, Greeley, up in through Sterling. So I'll show you what that looks like on our Futurecast coming up. But with a few of those storms, it's a marginal risk of some larger hail, gusty winds. Details coming up. A much stronger cold front, Jason, on Friday. Details in just a few minutes.
And some longer delays now on 6th Avenue. So start thinking about I-70 or start thinking about Colfax maybe as an alternate, because we have a big crash I've been talking about here this morning on the eastbound side of 6th Avenue here at Federal. Take a look from Air Tracker 7. You can see some significant damage to the front of that truck. That's just one of them. There's another pickup truck that this guy ran into. The whole back of it is crumpled, and then there's another car involved. So it's going to take some time waiting on some tow trucks, and that's going to be a process, unfortunately, as the center part of 6th Avenue eastbound is all blocked up. You can see there's that one truck and there's another car just up ahead. So it's going to be a process, unfortunately. Take a look at the CDOT camera here at Sheridan, and you can see how traffic is stacked up for us this morning. And the drive time right now is pretty lengthy, unfortunately, at least 20 to 25 minutes. So again, start using some of the alternate routes if you live on the west side to get towards I-25. It's a long delay on 6th Avenue.
Well, there's a felony arrest warrant out for the partner of former Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Wilson. Robin Nicita is accused of filing a false child abuse report against a city council member.
Denver 7's Veronica Acosta is joining us now to break down the allegations. Very serious here.
Yeah.
Veronica, the council member believes that this was an act of retaliation.
An act of retaliation toward Councilmember Danielle Jurinsky after she called then Chief of Police Vanessa Wilson trash on a local radio show. Investigators not only believe this was an act of retaliation, but they also believe that the timeline of it all really does add up. The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office says former Chief Wilson's partner, Robin Nicita, called DHS the day after Jurinsky made comments about the police chief publicly. Investigators say in Nicita's complaint to social services, she told caseworkers the councilwoman sexually assaulted her toddler in front of coworkers. Human Services found these allegations to be completely false. At the time she made the allegations, Nicita was a social worker for Arapahoe County, though she's since then resigned. A felony arrest warrant has been issued for former Chief Wilson's partner, Nicita. During a press conference yesterday, Jurinsky said she's used to being attacked for being outspoken, but this was completely different.
You know, the other attacks, every other attack that has come my way, I can handle on my feet. And I can fire back and I can fight back. You involve my child and it brings me to my knees. And it becomes a different kind of fight.
And we've checked with the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office. They say Nicita is not in custody just yet. Jurinsky's attorney says she'll file a notice of claim against social services as well as Nicita. That's the precursor to a lawsuit. In studio, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Veronica. Concealed carry is no longer allowed at Denver facilities or in Denver public parks. City Council adopted the ordinance last night. We did tell you how one councilwoman, Candy Tabaka, wanted to exempt parks with an amendment, but that was defeated. The full ban is expected to go into effect once signs are posted at public entrances.
Well, the president and first lady are scheduled to arrive in Buffalo, New York sometime within the next half hour. They left Washington just a short time ago. This is video of them boarding Air Force One at Joint Base Andrews. The president will meet with the families of the victims who died in Saturday's supermarket shooting attack. ABC's M. Nguyen has the latest from Washington.
President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden spending their day in Buffalo, New York to pay their respects to the victims of this weekend's mass shooting, which authorities say was racially motivated. President Biden expected a call on Congress to take action on guns and keep weapons out of the hands of people with serious mental illnesses.
I understand my choices.
This as we learn more about the suspect, 18-year-old Peyton Gendron, who's being held without bail, charged with first-degree murder. ABC News obtaining a new 589-page document that suggests Gendron meticulously planned the attack at least 2 months before. The document also showing how Gendron allegedly describes Tops Supermarket as the first location of attack and lists 2 more possible locations.
It appeared that his plans were to drive out of here and then continue driving down Jefferson Avenue, looking to shoot more black people.
One of the survivors, 8-year-old London Thomas, spoke exclusively with our station WKBW. She was with her dad inside the store when shots rang out. Her mom was in another aisle.
I was scared for my mom. I didn't know where she was. I thought she was gone.
After hiding from the gunman in a cooler, London and her dad escaped, where they were reunited with London's mom.
20 minutes later, they gave me London, and that was the most longest wait I ever had in my life.
The president and first lady will also meet with family members of the victims, law enforcement, first responders, and local leaders affected by the shooting. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
Yeah, the impacts are far-reaching. What happened in Buffalo is bringing back tragic memories from last year's Boulder King Super shooting when 10 Coloradans died when a gunman opened fire at the Table Mesa location. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us live because we are now hearing from a survivor of that shooting about her hopes for those grieving in New York now.
Yeah, this is all bringing back terrifying memories for one woman we talked to who was working inside the Boulder King Supers when that shooting happened last year. She tells us that it's been an extremely difficult year and it's hard for her to go out to public areas. Chelsea Krasaki was working as a deli clerk when 10 people were shot and killed inside the King Supers last March. She says she still remembers the details of her terrifying escape. She still hasn't revisited the King Supers and she's not sure if she ever will, but she is hoping that survivors in Buffalo will take the time to heal and process this tragedy.
I can only hope that there's that same outpouring of love and support for that community, because the fact that they were singled out specifically for the reason of their race is unfathomable to me.
And while the motive in the Boulder shooting remains unknown, the shooting in Buffalo is being investigated as a hate crime and an act of racially motivated violent extremism. Dr. Rachel Nielsen, who is an expert in targeted violence, says that it is possible to thwart mass shootings, but it requires early intervention.
I think part of it is recognizing the warning signs and having people who are willing to get in there and confront it and talk about it. It scares people, it makes people nervous, they don't want to be a part of it. And so a lot of folks will just shy away or end the relationship with that person because it just gets ugly and unpleasant.
Krasaki says that she hopes the prosecution in Buffalo will go a lot smoother for those who are grieving right now. Just last month, the suspect in the Boulder King Supers shooting was ruled incompetent to stand trial for the 3rd time. Live this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
A Denver church will also hold a community conversation tomorrow in the aftermath of the Buffalo mass shooting. The pastor of Agape Christian Church says the goal is to bring some healing. It starts at 11 a.m. and there will be a free meal afterwards.
The Avs are ready for round 2 of the playoffs. Game 1 against the Blues is tonight at Ball Arena. The team had one more round of practice yesterday. Tonight, though, marks 8 days since the last game the Avs played and 5 days for the Blues. Looking back to a year ago, the Avs swept the Blues 4-0 in the first round of the playoffs, but it could be a different story this year.
They're a different team this year. We're a different team this year. So you can't look into last year too much because that's in the past, and we're focused on the present and playing the St. Louis team this year. And they're a potent, highly potent offensive team that we got to be ready for.
Now, puck drops at 7:30 tonight at Ball Arena.
Meanwhile, if you're a Comcast subscriber, all this talk about the Avs might have you wondering if you'll ever be able to watch a game on TV again. We have the latest on the legal battle between the cable provider and Altitude Sports.
Plus, a major baby formula plant is getting the all clear to reopen to help with the nationwide shortage. I talked with a local doctor about making sure this doesn't happen again.